All right. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you all had a great Easter weekend. Welcome back to the live stream. Welcome back to building a $1 million media company, $1 million business. We're going to get right into it. Lots of stuff to get through. And yeah, where are we? Oh, hang on. I don't have my stream deck or whatever it's called. I need to switch my screen. Yes. Sorry, completely new background here because my studio right now is in complete shambles because it's being kind of renovated and all that stuff because of the stuff that we had over the past week where we had our first client in, which is what we're going to primarily talk about today. Halil, welcome. Hello, live long and prosper. Great to see you here. Hope you had a great weekend. So the office is in a big disarray here, so this is just kind of like my makeshift live stream studio here for today. So I just grabbed this light here. I'll put this little light behind me just to make it look at least a little bit decent. Anyways, all right. So week 5, last week, April 14th to 20th. How did we do? What was going on last week in the land of business and trying to make $1 million, obviously. Okay, so let's have a look. In terms of the podcast. So of course we're doing two things. So I'm just going to, if you're new here, you're going to hear me say this, well, for the first time, if you've been here before, I say this every week, is that we're trying to build a media company and we're doing it from two different angles. We have our own podcast, which we're building. And of course, then we want to we have our studio, which is going to help our clients build their own podcast. But really, we want to do that to help them create content to be able to do better in business and attract more business to them using a podcast. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to track kind of those two different metrics. And the first one is our average views and downloads per episode. Last week, we went down one average view per episode. So we're at 53 views and downloads per episode. And here, 1,000, that's our goal. We want to get to 1,000. So not quite there yet, but hey, we're tracking along. And so far in April, in terms of the studio revenue, we're still at the one client at $150 for coming in to record for an hour and a half. So last week activities, what did we do? So one thing that I've noticed, so for the past 3-4 weeks now, I've been posting a video on this YouTube channel once a week. And I put a pause on that for a couple reasons. Number one, I was just finding I'm just so busy and so much things on my plate that I found that I'm not able to give it 100% to do the videos and to write the newsletters of the quality that I want to have. And then I'm thinking kind of, okay, well, if I'm really, really busy, what are the things that I could put on the back burner or the things that aren't as important? And I'm finding that those videos, while I love doing them and I think they're really good in the land of business and entrepreneurship and all that, they're slightly out of alignment in terms of being able to help me get clients into the door, right? So that being said, I'm going to put a little bit of pause in it and kind of only save it for when I have something really important to say when it comes to entrepreneurship and building a business. And most of the stuff can be discussed here in this live stream. And because I really need to start focusing more on how I'm going to bring people into the door, into the studio to come in and record their podcast or to come partner and work with me for me to help them create content that's going to help them generate more revenue in their business, right? So that's kind of the goal. So that one was not really hitting that target market, right? So we really want to be very specific with how we're going to go about with our content. So anyways, that being said, releasing episode 7 and getting episode 8 ready. Episode 8 is going to be going live tomorrow, which is going to be really great for those of you that are interested in starting a web design agency. So our guest next week, or tomorrow, I should say, is someone that started their own web agency, I think back in a little bit before COVID, I think. Anyways, so doing really great, reaching over 200K in revenue in this past year. So really lots of great tips for how to find clients, how to go about getting clients, starting out as a freelancer and a web designer, all that kind of stuff. So really, really great stuff. So really excited for that one. So that's coming out tomorrow. And of course, we had our first client come into the studio. So there was lots of preparations for that and getting the whole studio ready. We had to update the studio to be able to accommodate up to 4 people. And, that's another kind of a lesson learned, which we'll get to, I guess, in this next page here. Rolando, greetings from the land of mountains and ever-changing weather. I feel like your weather is not at least as bad as the weather that we have up here, where it can swing like 40 degrees in like one day. But you definitely, yeah, when you're by the mountains, for sure, you're going to have different weather. But anyways, Rolando, great to see you as always. Hope you had a great Easter weekend. Yeah, okay, so did a lot of work on the studio here, hence the big mess and the different background here for me now. And I went really heavy this weekend on really updating content for the website, and that's what I'm going to be working on. I guess I could show you guys at the end of this video kind of what I'm doing on the website and updating it for my, $1 million offer, I guess you can say. And of course, I didn't get to do any outreach because I've been so busy, and I don't even have time right now to like this week, even if I wanted to do a podcast, because there's just so much on the go here, which is kind of crazy. So I need to figure out how I can hire somebody. I need to bring somebody on. Okay, so lessons learned from my first client. So again, what I have here is I have the home studio, and people can come in and record their podcasts, and it's exactly what they wanted to do. They were a company doing some really cool stuff with AI, by the way, which was really, really awesome. And they wanted to come into the studio to record their first podcast, which was awesome. Yeah, we woke up at 9 degrees C, and now it's 36 and very, very dry. Yeah, that's a big change for sure. That's crazy. So, but be thankful. It's not like, I don't know what the weather is here, but it's not 36. It's like maybe it's 6 degrees. So I'm loving the 36, but 36 is pretty high when it's dry. That's quite a bit. So yeah. Question, hire to do what? Yeah, my first hire is, at least right now, it's 95% going to be an editor. That would be my first hire. So that person is going to be able to take all of the tedious stuff that I have to do every time there's a guest and every time I do a podcast. So that's going to be the number one thing, which will free me up time to create more content, and then they can help me edit it and get it ready to go. And then of course, do the podcast and outreach to find clients and all that stuff. So that would be 95% sure. We'll see what happens as I move forward here and how the business is going to go, but I'm pretty sure that was going to have to be the first hire. So, okay. So yeah, lessons from the first client here. Maybe let me move my face out of the way here. Okay. How much and why is the salary so low? I never said what I would pay anybody for a salary. So where are you getting that the salary is so low? Or are you just assuming that's going to be low? I have no idea. I have no idea what I would pay somebody. And I think it would matter. It would depend on their experience level, of course, and whether that person is going to start off as just a freelancer and doing contract work before I take the plunge and actually hire somebody full time. So there would be lots of variables that would go into that. But I know for me as a business owner, I would really love to be able to pay my employees, 6 figures and have them have a comfortable, life, basically. If I could do that, that would be my dream as a business owner, a place where people get compensated well, they have room to grow and develop as an individual. And, hopefully with the higher salary, it'll be less motivation for them to want to go and leave and, go somewhere else and have to retrain somebody or whatever. So it's just your way of asking how much you're going to pay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that kind of I would love to pay a lot, but again, it's going to depend on how much money I actually have. So at the start, I imagine I'll probably, because I have all my editing stuff, I have it all written down, what my procedure and what it looks like when I actually edit stuff. I mean, I'd probably be looking for somebody that's super junior that can kind of grow into the position. I would imagine so, and see if they have some skills and how they can use DaVinci Resolve and to create kind of more of those faster cut edit things, and how they do with making short form content and having a little bit of creativity behind the work that they do. So I'd want to see a little bit of a portfolio there. But yeah, I mean, I would think off the top of my head, the lowest I would be $20 an hour if I was to put it in an hourly range to hire somebody on. But that's kind of just my thoughts there. So I don't know what that is as a salary. Maybe that's even too low. I don't even know what minimum wage is here. Maybe it's $15 an hour. This is Canadian, by the way. So So yeah, I would imagine between 20 and 30 bucks an hour would be the rate. Anyways, at the start, right? So then if somebody's going to onboard and a full client, like or full like partner with me or partner, just I don't know, full employee, then I'd love to get up to the 40, 50 and 60 bucks an hour kind of range. But okay. So what happened with the guests when they came in? So it's funny too, because I've had people coming into the studio as a guest on my podcast, but having somebody as a client is like almost a completely different thing. Okay. So one, having the Wi-Fi ready, I was completely unprepared for them thinking that they would want to have the Wi-Fi. So I just had to, thankfully I have it written down somewhere. So I just had to go to my bedroom to go fetch the Wi-Fi and give it to them. But to have that ready to go is something to always remember. So people want Wi-Fi. So that was number one. The second one, and this was like first impressions are key, and you don't have, I mean, what is it? You can only make your first impression once. And they were a little bit lost at how to even get here, because I think they were, well, not, I think, I know, because they told me that they were confused that they came to like an apartment building and not like a commercial district. So I wasn't clear when I was communicating with them about where to go, that it was an apartment building and it was in a home studio. So at the beginning, I think they were a little bit, it was really weird for them. But as soon as they came into the place and they saw the apartment, they saw the studio, they're like, wow, this is like a really nice place or whatever. So I need to do a much better job at communicating that that's a thing. So, but at first, like I was a little bit not sure what to do, because I feel like if people know that it's an apartment, they might be not wanting to come because they might not think it's professional enough. So that was kind of, it's like a game to play, but I think I would rather be honest up front, let them know what they're coming into, and have like videos and nice high quality images on the website so they know what they're going to be kind of coming into, right? So that's what is going to be on list for things to do this week. So we'll get to that in terms of what I want to do this week. But yeah, be honest, be open, make that great first impression, be super clear, and everyone knows exactly what to expect when they come to our studio. So I want to have a little bit of a laminated document or something. I'm probably going to keep adding to this, but to give them tips and tricks for how they can have their best experience when they're doing a podcast. Because this time it's different, because they're just there sitting down talking, and I'm just there, just like basically I got to shut up and let them do their thing. I can't interrupt or any of that stuff, right? So, but I gave them some tips at the beginning, but then it's like they almost forgot, because one of the things was make sure you have your microphone, like I say, like about a fist distance from your mouth. And then they're like, yeah. And then they're like this. And then they were talking, and then they were like this far away, like from, I don't know if you can see that, but they're pretty far away from the microphone. And that makes the sound, you can probably hear the difference in the sound here. And that makes the quality of the audio so much more difficult to work with, especially because then they either have to talk louder, but they don't know because they're just having conversation. But then I have to turn up the gain on the microphone. But then the other person that's talking, that gets picked up because the gain's higher, and it just makes kind of a nightmare for the audio. So, that was very, very frustrating, and something that I had to manage like manually. And then I had to do some post-processing on the audio before I even sent it to them. So, which is not what I really wanted to do, because this is just you come in, record, and they just get the stuff. So anyways, so having a list of things prepared that they can have, and I could probably even send that ahead of time to say like, hey, just so you know, for your first podcast, here's some tips and tricks. And this is where if I have a video or a couple of videos on how to nail like your first podcast episode, then I could send that to the client before they even come. I think that'll be golden. I need to write that down or make sure I remember that. So, because I that should be one of my first videos. Question, have you already set up your Google My Business card? No, I have not done anything like that, except for the fact that there is a Google listing for Pixel, but I don't think it's done. I think that's back in the day when I was a web design agency, a web design company, and not a podcast studio. So I guess I need to update that, I think. It's funny because in our podcast tomorrow, Nick's his name, and we were talking about Google listing and how scrapes these weird images for his business. Anyways, so this probably has to do with kind of something that you're talking about too, about Google My Business Card. So I need to do that. There are so many things I need to do in order to prep. But thank you, Rolando, for reminding me that, that stuff is obviously is really important to have good SEO and how people can find me. So yeah, super important to do. Okay. So, and then just another thing too as well, this is very difficult to do, and I still have a problem doing this, is that when the other person is talking, just like shut up. Don't talk over the person that's talking. Let them, unless you're having a quick back and forth about something, but generally speaking, you want them to talk and you to not say anything. Number one, it helps with the audio, and it helps for the guests that are listening to just listen to one person at a time. And yeah, that's just super, super important. So, not saying that this was happening the whole time at all. Not at all. In fact, I think that was a really great podcast episode, but it's just little things to always kind of keep in mind. And for me, I'm always saying, yep, or while the other person's talking, it's a really bad habit. I need to not do that. So, yeah. Okay. Another thing to take away is learn this too. If you're watching this too, this is probably pretty beneficial if you're ever going to do a podcast or do something like this on your own. But maybe, well, I guess it could if you're doing some videos with other stuff or anything. Anyways, make sure to take the time and get the camera set up like 100% correctly so that it has the best possible framing for what it is that you're looking for. So I think one of my cameras was just slightly off, and if I would have just spent an extra 30 seconds to really make sure that the guy was exactly where I wanted the frame to go, then that would have been perfect. So, okay. Unsolicited advice. That's probably the best advice you could ever possibly want. Once you have it, send an email to the person who booked the studio and offer them a 20% discount on their next rental if they leave you a review on Google Card. That's actually a really good point, and it's something that I'm totally thinking about and totally makes perfect sense, saying, if you leave a review, and I think it could be a Google review and maybe like a Yelp review, or maybe you could do a combination of both. So yeah, definitely having some type of a coupon associated with that would be totally awesome. And that's fantastic advice. And I'm 100% going to do that. So I love it. Thank you. Really, really good advice there. Okay. So, right. Framing, make sure you get your framing right. Okay. Yeah. So the sound. So this has to do with live switching. And so I have my ATEM Mini. Do I have it here? I have it. It's on the floor here. I can't really grab it. But it's basically a switcher that allows me to, in real time, switch the camera angles. And I could record the video from each camera into this ATEM Mini and make an actual live feed so that we can have camera angles and everything in one edit. And then theoretically, at the end of the episode, I hit stop, and then they have an episode ready to go where they can just kind of trim the beginning and the end and have a completely fully edited thing ready to go. Of course, there's no edits of if they have any edits they want to make in the middle of the episode or anything like that. But it could be if they just want something super simple, they can have that. But that being said, the cable that I have that makes the sound go from the Rodecaster Pro to the ATEM Mini introduces some hissing and some really bad audio distortion. So there's a specific cable apparently that helps with this. So I just need to buy that so I could do live switching. And of course, live switching it's actually really difficult in that you have to be paying super attention to the podcast and know the right times when to switch over to who's talking, and also then when to go on the wide angle and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is in the as part of my offerings, I'm going to add that at an additional cost. And I think I'm going to add it at basically double the cost. So if you want to come in for an hour and a half and record your podcast, it's $150 and you just get the raw video files and the raw audio files. But if you want me to live edit this, then it's an extra $150. Or I guess they could have somebody else do it, but I don't know if I want to get too technical and offer that for somebody else to do that. So Yelp is better, but remember it has lower search rate for places compared to Google Maps. Yeah. So, but I wonder if you could just say both though. Say listen, if you give me a Yelp and a Google review, then you get your 20% off. So I guess that's one thing to experiment, to see if asking for 2 reviews is going to throw people off as opposed to asking for 1. But yeah, for sure, people search in Google Maps and then it's ready to go. But it would be nice to have reviews for both. So anyways, yeah. And I wonder if it's because is 20% a good discount, or should I even have it higher just so I can get more reviews? I don't know. Like a higher like discount. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'll throw it in sometimes this week, and we'll talk next week how it goes. Not I'll throw it in. I'll send it over to the client. Right. Okay. Yeah. In terms of audio levels, the same thing I was talking about before, about making sure that they're in the microphone is placed in the right spot. I want to set the audio levels and just leave them alone. This one was a little bit tricky because I knew it could cause problems in the post-production, but I think it's better to just set the audio levels and then leave everything as it is. So that way, when I go into the post-production, if I need to, then it'll be easier to normalize because at least it's the same consistency. So, yeah, so that's more of like little technical details. And I'm very, like I have really high standards. Like I don't say perfectionist, but I have really high standards for the audio and video quality. And I don't want to send anything to the client that is not like 100% just amazing. Right. So, that's why even though I wasn't supposed to, or they didn't hire me or pay me to do this, I still did some post-processing on the audio because I didn't want them to have a bad experience with the first files that I sent them. So, yeah. So, yeah. Chairs, a quick thing with chairs. I don't know. I never noticed this when I was doing my podcast, but every once in a while they'd move and the chairs would give it this little creak or what have you. And I guess that's when you buy cheap chairs off of Amazon for like $100. And yeah, I guess made in China or whatever, just crappy plastic material. So I don't know what to do about that because I don't want to spend, $1,500 on these crazy Herman Miller chairs, but it's something that, and I have to buy 4 of them. So it'd be like $6,000 on chairs. Like I don't have that kind of cash, but just something to keep in mind for the future. And then talking about a producer, there was 2 people in the podcast and one person that was kind of just off to the side and they were just kind of outside the door actually. But if I had another chair right here like basically on the tech table, then they could sit here and then they could kind of direct the people that are in the podcast. So I love to be able to fit. So that's like 6 people in this room. It's kind of pretty tight that way, but maybe we can get that done. So have this second chair for a producer would be, I think that would be a really cool addition. So another unsolicited tip. Let's see. Give 10 people 1 hour of free studio use in exchange for Google reviews. I guarantee you'll rank better on Google and get more clients much faster. That's another really great point, Rolando. And it's something that I was thinking about as well too, is because I'm thinking about, well, this goes to maybe let's put this into this week's activities. It's like, what is going to be the best marketing that I can do in order to promote myself? And if there's some way, if I reach out to people and offer like free services as a trial, it gets people in the door. It gets me to collect reviews, as you're saying. It allows me to get some extra film or whatever and pictures of people coming to the studio, and I could put up a portfolio of, the different podcasts that I've been working with. So, and I was even wondering if maybe that should be something that I can have on my website that is just almost like what I do. Like it's almost like it gives you, like, I don't want to compare what I do to like taking heroin or drugs or whatever, but like hook them in with the first episode free and then everything else is kind of a paid thing. So I don't know, and then if they come in, they get the first episode for free. They want to continue the same look and feel. So they're not going to go to the competitors, or they'll be less likely. And then, yeah, that's just my way of getting in through the door. I don't know. But this is a good point here you bring in too, is the best marketing is word of mouth, but you need to be very selective about who you give your time to. And that's the thing too. If I start offering free services for the one-time thing, like, is it going to be overwhelming? Am I going to have too many people that are going to be coming in to book, and I'm just going to be wasting my time on these people that are not taking it seriously? So I think that's the balance act you need to have in place about who are the right people. Are they going to actually be good for my business in terms of the word of mouth? And yeah, it's a really interesting point. I'm not sure what's going to be the best. What do you think of that, Rolando? Do you think it's like, if the website was like, hey, your first one is free, and then it's basically, it would be to anybody, and then I can just make sure that, you know, maybe I'll only do that 10 or 15 times, and then I just remove that? Or is that a good value proposition to help me get clients into the door? I don't know. But I feel like I'm already probably more than likely undercutting the competition in terms of pricing at $150 or $100 an hour. So if we're already the cheapest one in town, at least we're the cheapest one in town for just coming into the studio. But when we get to other stuff, it's definitely much more expensive. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I don't know what the pricings are for other people, but it's definitely not cheap. So yeah. Anyways, it's really good points. So we'll have to think about that. Okay. So what do I want to do this week? So the studio here, I need to obviously reorganize everything and make everything look super, super nice. But I need to take a bunch more images, have some amazing images of the studio, and maybe take some video as well of the studio. Probably take some images of what the outside kitchen area looks like, so I can show that. Because when they come in, I have the whole coffee laid out. I have cups laid out and mugs. Water is there. Tea is there. So all kinds of drinks are available for the guests, or not even just podcast guests, but for my clients, right? So I have all that food ready to go. I should say it's just drinks. Maybe I should have food in the future. But anyways, take a picture of that. Just showcase like what this space looks like, and that it's like a nice, basically welcoming space. So definitely want to do that. So, and then we're going to update the websites and have all that stuff published and ready to go. So we'll jump into this website of what I have so far, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Create a landing page and send it to the Chamber of Commerce and select who to include and who not to. Yeah, so that's another thing about the Chamber of Commerce. I need to get into that ASAP and figure out how I could connect with them. And I should ask Kent about that, because he's totally into the Chamber of Commerce stuff. And he was, before he went into politics, I think he was leader of one of the Chamber of Commerce in the Eastern Shore. Anyways, but yeah. Yeah, so when you say send it to the Chamber of Commerce, are you even talking about reaching out to somebody that's kind of communicates with other businesses or companies within there, or just look at the people that are in there and see who you'd like to talk with? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's a really good idea. I just got to figure out, like you're saying, who to include and who not to include, and figure out how I'm going to do that. I imagine too, if I just went to the chamber and said, listen, I'm a new studio, and I'm looking for 10 people that want to start their podcast, but they don't know how to get started or whatever. Do you know anybody? But that's also how I'm going to do some marketing in order to get them into the workshop as well too, because I'm going to have free workshops here in my room, my studio, my house, whatever you want to call it. Or I guess maybe apartment is the better way to call it. Anyways, so yeah, okay, so publish the website. Got to get all that done this week. So then next week we're going to super hardcore in our marketing and whatever that's going to look like. So we're going to have to work through that. So episode 8, again, that's tomorrow. That's Nick from Grandway Marketing. If you're interested in learning how to start a web design company and getting your first clients, and of course from him, he's already up to over 200K in revenue doing web design and development for his clients. Stay tuned to that episode going live tomorrow. That's going to be awesome. Still haven't done this. Need to do this. This is Rolando Wise saying I need an editor to create shorts from episodes 6, 7, and 8. I still don't have any shorts at all from those episodes. Need to find the time, and that's just sitting down and basically doing it. Takes some time. Takes about, 4 hours per, like maybe even more, but 4 hours per episode. So that's 3 episodes. It's going to be 12 hours of work of just sitting down editing. So that's a lot of work. So I got to figure out when I can find time to do that. marketing of Pixel. So this is the big thing. Rolando, you gave me some really great tips and advice. So definitely going to implement that stuff, but also thinking about the workshops, what I do about a blog and getting a blog started / content creation for a YouTube video, for YouTube videos, and the videos that I were making here on this channel about, web design and my weight loss video, just those types of videos, kind of those higher quality, highly edited videos. I want to make that for Pixel about teaching people all about podcasting, doing a studio, getting, building up a sales funnel, all that kind of stuff. Those are the types of videos that I want to create because that's the information that people should be looking for my, from my ideal clients, right? So more ways for them to kind of find me. And yeah, really figuring out what I can do with the Chamber of Commerce and to get those first slew of guests onto the show. Right. Oh yeah, I do have a client coming in here on Friday to record some content. So that's going to be another fun thing to record that content for them. And then that's more work I'm going to have to do for editing all that stuff. But that's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to doing that. And then doing some more outreach as well, which I don't even know if I'm going to get to. I know I have 2 podcasts in the pipeline, but I feel like I'm so stretched thin as is that I don't even know if I want to get more people on the podcast because it's going to take me away from the marketing stuff that I need to do to work on those activities that I know are going to actually bring me money, which is getting butts in the seats here, recording a podcast. So yeah, so let's just go into the website here. Again, I'd love to hear your feedback on this. So basically, well, what we can do, let's go to, so this is the website as it stands right now. And there's really only 2 things that you can do. Hang on, where's my, let me, oh, not that. Hang on a second. There we go. Let me go back to this bottom corner here. Okay. Posted it in the Chamber of Commerce ads and in groups. And for those who sign up, research them and select the ones you want. Right. So it's almost like you have an apply to be part of the 10 or something like that. So that way they can put their name in the hat that they want to do it, but then I don't necessarily have to say yes just because they responded. I think that's actually a really smart way of going about it. So I like that, but I don't know what that works in terms of their ads. So we'll have to figure out, how that works. So yeah, no, but I like that. That's a really good idea. I like being able to at least filter out and not just, like you said, just accept whoever, replies to the free ad, right? Because you can get all kinds of characters running in the door. Anyways, okay. So the way that the website is set up now is that there's basically 2 offerings. So number 1 is to come and book the studio to just record your podcast, and then the second option, I guess we can go into the pricing. Even the layout of this website, it's not done very well at all. So, but yeah, so there's the come in and just get the studio and record, and you get all the raw files. That's at $100 an hour. So you can book for 1.5, 2, and 3 hours, just having it nice and simple. And then you click on this, it just gets you to the calendar, and you can just go ahead and book your time. And let's go back here. And then there's the professional, where it's $750 per episode. You can come in once, record up to 3 hours in the studio here. And then of course I'm here, the 3 cameras, blah, blah, blah. But instead of me giving them the audio files, I will edit the video just like I do for my own podcast for Unconventional Mindset. And then I'll also give them vertical clips and the video clips of the podcast itself, and give them show notes and a few other kind of little content stuff for them to go ahead and distribute through into their market, right? So it's almost they come in, we do all the editing, we do everything, and then they get 15 or so pieces of content from that one episode. And that's $750 an episode. But then what I'm doing in this new version is that there's a third option, which is it's a subscription-based service where you hire us and we become part of your whole content marketing team. Whereas basically what we're going to do is they come in to the studio once a month, and then they record however many podcasts we're going to schedule, depending on the plan that they take. And then we record the podcast, and then we do all the production, we do all the post-production, all the editing, we develop the content, we write blog posts, we write social media posts, all that kind of stuff. And that's at the price point of $5,000 a month. And not only that is we also coach them through how to do a podcast. We find the guests. We basically do everything that is required in order to launch and start a podcast, all that kind of stuff. We just take care of all that for them. So they show up to the studio once and then they just record. And the way that I can illustrate this, I guess so far, is in this page here. Images are all just placeholders right now. Is what I have it right here. Build authority through your expertise. Turn your knowledge into a lead magnet that works while you sleep. So the idea is you're the CEO of a company. You're doing pretty well. If you're going to do this package, you're going to be doing pretty well in the business. I would imagine you're making at least 10 to 15K in revenue a month, but you don't know how to make video. You don't know how to make highly engaging content, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So you're not getting as many leads as you know you should be getting. You work with us, and we help you build that authority. We help you grow your brand through engaging content, right? And it's all wrapped up, in a podcast, right? So I just kind of laid out these different, like the process of kind of how it works. I should probably, yeah, there we go. So, we talk about strategy and brand. Then there's the pre-production. We get everything ready. The production itself, when they come in and recording. Then we do the post-production and the distribution. Then we talk about analytics. We always are monitoring analytics. Then we set up their lead funnel, and that's where we can have some web design associated into it, so that whenever we post anything on social media, it always links back to something that we can track into their sales funnel. And then we iterate every month. We figure out what worked, what doesn't. We sit down with the client, give them all the details, whatever, right? So that's all that kind of stuff, right? So that's what we're looking for in the bigger ticket items. So 3 ticket items for what we're going to be looking for here. Rolando, take care, man. Great. Thanks. Great for you to stop by. Always great to see you. I'll send you an email in the next few days. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. Always great to hear from you. Don't careful with the weather. Don't get any heat strokes or anything like that. You're probably used to all that hot weather, but still, hot is still hot though, man. All right. Right. So, and I don't know about the content. I'm still exactly trying to figure out, because I feel like this is a little bit too much. I have this section here, do more by doing less. It's just saying you can get more results, but you don't always have to be working so hard, which is why you kind of hire us to take all that off your plate. So yeah, all these images and stuff are just kind of placeholders, but that's what I'm trying to figure out here on the website. And then when we're looking at this essential plan, this is just where you come in and record, but we also do the editing and all that stuff for you. So then this just kind of talks about the different features that you get when you hire us to do that. And then again, I don't know what the button is going to say and all that kind of stuff, but it's $750, per episode. And I think what I'm thinking to make this seem a little bit more, I don't know if straightforward is the word I want to use, but make it a little bit more clear to the audience, is to have almost 3 columns, and have 1 column for just booking the studio, 1 column for us doing just the editing and everything for you, and then another column for like the full service suite. And that's the premium. And I think what I'm going to have on there is like only 2 spots left to put a little bit of thought into the user's mind. It's like, oh, well, there's only so many people that they can fit. And there absolutely is. I'm pretty sure I'd only be able to handle 2, maybe 3 per month at a time, but then I'm definitely going to have to hire people. So, hello from Jamaica. Oh man. Enjoying the weather, I would imagine. Looking forward to watching the stream, later. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Kevin, but oh man, I'm super jealous, at least if you're on vacation. But then same with Rolando. I mean, he's in Mexico all the time. So, always enjoying that great weather. Hopefully you're having fun, having a great time. And enjoying some rum, I guess, some good old Jamaican rum. I mean, you can't not have rum, I guess, if you're in Jamaica, right? It's like going to Cuba and not having cigars. Or coming to Canada and, not having maple syrup. Like, come on. It's like a crime against humanity. All right. Okay, so So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do to update this website. So I find it difficult to figure out how to structure your website if you have different offerings. So I have this thing kind of here. I still love this turn your voice into a brand, because no matter what package you'd want to go with, you're still creating a podcast and you're still trying to create that authority and that branding through like your actual voice and through the content that you're making. And you still want to grow into the next big thing with Pixel. I still really like that. But then I kind of changed it up a little bit here, like turn your expertise into a content engine. So stop chasing clients and start having them chase you. We'll help you create content that builds relationships and grows your business. So just thinking about why is somebody wanting to start a podcast, and just highlighting that here of what a podcast can do for you and for your business. And then I have 3 sections here, which kind of just speak to the 3 different offers. Again, is this going to work? And the pictures, again, just placeholders here. But is this going to work? I don't know. I feel like it's okay. Like, what do we have here? Like, create a podcast you can be proud of. And then, yeah, book studio time, full service, and then post-production. Yeah, and then just like what we have in this space. So how did I update this? Yeah. So they have this space here, like premium podcast experience, or maybe professional studio. Maybe I should say that. Yeah, book our professional video podcast studio. This is what it's equipped. So it's kind of, I think I'm taking almost what's in here and kind of shoving it into here. On-site engineer, 3 camera setup. Yeah, and I really want to make it visual. So you're really going to be able to see the studio in this video here that plays. It's not playing here. I think it'll play. Yeah, so you'll see, like I even have more content as well to put in this video. So updating this thing. Let's get it. Let's go out of preview mode here. Oops, not insights. There we go. Yeah, all you have to do is show up and it takes care of the rest. Yeah. So yeah, on-site technical support, you get 3 cameras and you get up to 4 guests, and you have the same day delivery, book the studio. And then here, focus on what you're good at. We'll take care of the rest. That's like, you come in for the podcast, you have everything ready to go. You do you, and we'll take care like the end-to-end post-production, right? And then you get 3 hours of studio, and then you get social media shorts and clips and all that kind of stuff. And then learn more. And then the next one is like the lead mag. This is the big ticket item. Again, I'm not really sure here on the wording and everything, so I'm just kind of putting things in buckets. But that's how I'm seeing this page layout. I'd really love to know what you guys think about at least kind of having that layout. And then I guess I'll know where to go from there. Then I have ready to grow your podcast, and then, which is the same as here. But I wonder if a space to bring your vision to life. Like, I wonder if I should bring that back. Or I think what I did actually, I think I probably put it on. I have a dedicated page now for the studio. And I probably, yeah. No, I didn't put it here. Yeah, I mean, I haven't updated the icons here, but it's a space to bring your vision to life. But I have create a podcast you can be proud of. That was from the homepage. And then the difference, and here are the different steps. And then I have discover our studio, professional studio built to make you shine. And then these are the different things that we offer. I wonder, a space to bring your vision to life. I wonder if that wording is better than this. Discover our studio. Our studio designed to let your creativity. Like, this is much better here than a professional studio built to make you shine. It's kind of just fluff. Or this talks about the gear. I don't know. Anyways, I have to work on the content, obviously. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I have. So I'm breaking things down into the homepage, a studio page, a page for the video editing services, and then a page for the full service package. I don't even know what to call that one. I'm just calling it premium for now. And then a resources page where there's going to be a blog, and then there's going to be like the tutorials or the PDFs or newsletter or whatever that I'm going to have. And then of course the pricing page. So that's how I'm breaking down the site. I still wanted to keep it I still want to keep it very, very simple, and I don't want to fill it with too many different things. I don't want to make it too complicated, because at least it worked, at least booking the first client, which I think was super, super cool. So I think we'll be able to book even more as we obviously start to promoting it, and we maybe just provide maybe a little bit more clarity into what it is that we do and what we can provide for our clients. So that was a busy week, and busy times here going forward here with Pixel and everything that we're doing. So we're going to keep plugging away. And next week, Rolando, I'm definitely going to talk about, or I'll let you know what happened when I offer those discounts for the existing clients, see if they're going to leave a review, and then see how far I can get with talking to the Chamber of Commerce or putting together some type of package to try to get a good slew of people into the door here in the next month and a half before the summer starts. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Super excited about everything that's in the pipeline here. And I should also mention, this is super, super important before I go here. I actually had a blast when these clients were here in the studio. I got to talk to them, meet with them. They were doing some really, really cool stuff. The guy that was here was actually this guy that he has a company that he did like these really high-end like Discovery Channel videos and documentary series. So it was really cool to listen to all the stuff that he did here locally and around the world. So it was really cool just to meet people. And if I could have the studio as a place where there's just new people rolling in and out, just doing really cool business. Oh my goodness. This goes to what Kent was saying in the last podcast on that I did. Like your net worth is your network, and knowing people and getting in contact with all these different people and listening to what they have to say. It was a blast. So I'm so happy that I've kind of found this direction. I love the work and I love interacting with these people. And I think, if you're thinking about starting a business, to make sure that you're going to enjoy the work that you're going to be doing, it's really, really important. And I'm just thinking about it is just like, it just makes me feel so happy about the possibilities and the amount of people that I'd be able to meet and talk with and interact with. It's just amazing. And I can't wait to see how it goes. So it just makes the work that I do when I'm just sitting down on the computer at least a little bit more bearable, because I'm working towards something that I know is going to be amazing, or at least that I'm going to super, super enjoy and feel really fulfilled in the work that I do. And so it's really good. So anyways, that I guess is a little bit of my lesson learned about his business in general. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming in. Kevin, Halal, Rolando, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'll be back here again on Monday for a brand new stream. Until then, take care. Have a great rest of your week.